Hey everybody, we're going to do this peacock today, and it looks kind of complicated, and it is, but that's kind of what we're going to talk about. How do you simplify something to basically do it so you can understand? So I'm going to get my brush really small, and the thing I need to do here, I need to change the opacity on my bird, and then we can go in and talk about it. And there's some things we can eliminate. You always don't have to do everything that you see. But initially what I want to do, let me see if my pen is working. Okay. So I have this bird, and I have the tail. Whoops. And what I want to do is just get the overall large shapes. And I'm not concerned about the mountain or these plants here. These flowers off to the side are nice, and we can talk about that. But the first thing I want to do, I just want to come in and get the basic shape for my bird. So I got the head, and I can divide it up for the beak. And then the neck starts very thin at the top and gets thicker as it goes to the body. Now the body can be thought of as just like an overall large shape like this. I can even finish it off like that, just so I have a basic understanding of that shape. Then as I get into the tail, I can break this up into shapes too. I can break that up into kind of like the shape before I do the large shape. So the large shape can just be something like this. And this helps take the complicated drawing out of it. So there you have it. If I turn off the original drawing, you can see that's what I have. Really simple. Just these basic shapes, and it's nice because it flows up through the drawing. So that's what I'm concerned about. Now, if I wanted to put in these flowers off to the side, this too, I would want to just come in and get a basic large shape so I know where I'm going with that. So that looks like that. These are those flowers off to the side. So I'm just putting those in and getting all the big shapes of everything. And then if I wanted to, I guess I could go in and do this mountain back here. It's not really my concern for this drawing. But, like I say, if you want to do it, you got it. You can just come in and do that. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is start detailing this bird. So I'm going to go in a little closer so you can see it. Maybe close this here because it's in my way. And then I need to scroll down a little bit. So again, I'm coming in here. This is a very linear drawing, so it's really mostly line quality. And so I'm putting in, let me see if I can get there we go. So I'm getting the eye shape here, and then it has a lot of strokes in it, like describing the form. So this is where you get into a lot of that detail, where you want to just describe it from a linear standpoint, kind of like that. So again, if I turn off my original drawing, I have just some sort of texture describing the bird's face. Now again, as I come up here, I can just come in here and simplify these shapes. They're kind of like, almost like a crown, I guess. And then there's, again, some cross hatching here to help the transition there like that. So I'm just going to do something like that. And I get it like that, just this nice transition. And depending on how you want to do this, again, you don't have to do all the lines that are in the finished drawing that you're looking at. I have some here, and I have a little bit of his nostril there. Then this is coming down again. This is describing, the side of the bird. And so I can just come in and put like a little stroke on it, just to kind of get that to happen. And that looks like that. So my stroke is really just kind of doing these lines and maybe a little bit of cross hatching. And I'm trying to describe the roundness of the bird's neck. So these would have kind of like a shape that's defining something that's round, in this case kind of tube-like. So you don't want to do like a flat, too flat. You want to describe what's going on, defining what you're drawing. Okay, so if I make my way down, again I have a bunch of complicated forms here. So again, I can break this down. I have this group here and this group off to the side. So as you see it now, I have it broken down into three very, very simple shapes. And then you have to decide, well, how much detail do I want to do there? So you can decide, you know, how much of these flowers you actually, these feathers, not flowers, though they look like petals, these things. So you can decide, so there I just finished that one side like that, and then I can come in and again there's some cross hatching here that I can sort of kind of put in, but I'm describing the curve and the surface of those feathers. So I want to do something a little bit like that. And I have a shape here for the other side of the peacock, so let me put that in like that. And then in the middle, again, I have something like this. But like I say, I can simplify this. I don't have to put everything in. As an artist, you have that kind of judgment to do that. And it might look better to simplify some areas and concentrate on details on the other. Everything doesn't necessarily have to have the same importance. In fact, I like the way over here they kind of limited the amount of feathers there, and you have like this nice open area here where it just isn't that complicated. So I like that. That looks good. That's a nice way to handle this, to just have simple and complex like that. So as I make my way down, we get a little bit more complicated. So we have this area here where it's picking up kind of like these different kinds of shape. They're kind of feather shapes and rounded shapes. They get larger as they come to this line here, and they have this sort of peacock shape in the middle of them like that. And then this gets really kind of complicated in here. But in a way, for example, here I see like a row of these things, so I can come in and just start doing that this way. So I turn that off, I get that area like that. They overlap a little bit. Again, you can kind of see there's some sort of peacock design that they have, and then a little bit of these lines on it to help with the description. This has a little bit more of a design to it. I'm not quite sure what that looks like, but kind of like that. A little bit more of lines in here. So let me zoom out and see what we got here. So I fit it on the screen and turn the original drawing off. So it's sort of happening. So that's sort of how I would do it. I would continue on with just breaking this down into simple shapes, and the next group into simple shapes, like that. And then when you get to the flowers, you can do the same thing. You've got my original line out here, and then you come in and just see what you're doing here. The petals here on the flowers. And they have a little bit of something in the center there, so I can put those on. And so I've got those happening here. And you would probably do it as a rough beforehand, because then you can come in and really clean it up. And then a little bit more of those shapes in the tail. So once I get all this delineated, and then I can come in and kind of rough in my shapes on my mountain. And like I say, I don't know if I want to deal with the plants there. It's not that important. But that's basically it. That's how I would lay this out here. Got another flower down here I forgot to put in. And then these two have a cross hatching. So you just want to make sure that the flowers are read as separate from your peacock. One of the ways to do that is you can either outline it, or when you come in with your cross hatching, just put that against the flower, so the flowers pop forward from the tail, kind of like that. So you get a little bit of the lightness of the flowers will come a little forward from the peacock feathers. And that's how I would handle it, like that. So if I turn everything off and go back to the original, you can kind of see how that all comes together there. And again, they do it too. You can see they've deeply cross-hatched their line to create a darker value to separate those flowers from the peacock. So use that to your advantage. Use the cross-hatching to determine the lightness and darkness of everything. Like the less cross-hatching you have, the more the paper comes through. The more you have, the more dense it gets and the darker it gets. So again, if you want to have light against dark, you'd have the densest amount of cross-hatching. And as it goes away and gets lighter, you would use less of it. So that's how I would do it. Okay, thank you very much. All right, we're done.